Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Tuesday, the 2nd of September. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever. And US was closed yesterday, so of course very calm markets. European stock market was also fairly calm, but there was some movement on the FX. We will dig into that later. But let's have a look at Nvidia here. Just to recap what's been going on. Nvidia formed what it seems like 1, 2, 3 tops here. Two of them a little bit higher than the first one there, but still. On the 28th of August, it touched or it spiked to just 1 cent below the all-time highs there. So it seems like a triple top thing going on here. And if it breaks below 170.89, you can also argue that it should be down here. Let's just move that one up there. That's 168.80. But if I close below the first one here around 170 also results in RSI closing below 40 threshold, well, then there's potential to at least 160, possibly even lower in this region here, around 157.75 for the triple top to unfold. And since it's of course also dominant in the index and in the semiconductor ETF and the index, well, it's formed that double top like pattern here. It didn't really it didn't form that triple there, but nevertheless, it looks very toppish at the moment. Going back to Nvidia again, I also want to point out another thing is that RSI has been showing divergence for quite some time as it's been declining where the market moves higher. So we are in an exhaustion phase for semiconductors and especially Nvidia. And it seems like we're in for a bit of a correction. Could seem like that. So let's see about that in the coming days and weeks. And again, we are in September. That is cleaning house months, and it is also usually a quite a volatile month before the last quarter. Nasdaq, just to recap from yesterday, there was of course no market yesterday, but she got rejected there at the 786 retracement there, Nasdaq 100, and could establish a downtrend 22,950 and especially 22,673. Those are the key levels to watch out for. We also see divergence on the Nasdaq 100, indicating that the uptrend is in exhaustion mode. The S&P 500, well, it closed higher there, so it's still in a bullish trend, but also RSI declining, so bit stretched there. Pre-market, we are unchanged. On the Dow Jones index, well, we do have a bullish trend still. We have this rising trend line there. So if let's just add that one to there. A close below 44,579, then we have established a bearish trend, so there's still a bit of way to go, but also here we have negative sentiment, so also indicating trend exhaustion. And if it closes below this short-term rising trend line here, it could be first indication of correction playing out. So be careful out there on the US markets. The Hang Seng, a little bit back this morning, but still in a bullish trend, and could push higher. But also here we have RSI divergence. Market moves higher, RSI moved lower, so we are in it indicates a trend exhaustion. It's not saying it will end there, but there are indications that it seems to be struggling a little bit, although it bounced from the 24,775, and don't expect a massive sell-off just yet. There's no signs of that, and we don't have top and reversal patterns in place, neither on the Hang Seng and the US markets. But still, it is a little bit stressed at the moment, and it seems like we could head in for a bit of a correction, at least on the US market. On the Nikkei, Well, that correction is ongoing. We have actually established a very short-term bearish trend there. Still positive sentiment on the RSI. We took back half of the bullish trend there, and let's see if it can bounce from that. It did bounce a little bit, but it needs to get back above, and let's just add the horizontal line. So if it can get back above 43,040, well, then bullish trend has resumed. In the European markets, yesterday bounced a little bit, but still under pressure, needs to get back up here and close this gap here up to 5,443, 5,444 it is. Then bullish trend could resume. There's still positive sentiment on the RSI. There's no divergence, so maybe it can do that. We also have 55 still rising, 100 still rising, 200 rising. So maybe it's just taking a little bit of a breather, but for now it is struggling for upside momentum. EuroStoxx50, the CFD future, CFD and future. We have a 55 moving average where it's dancing around at the moment, and just above the cloud, still positive sentiment. So there's some positive signs. On the DAX, on the other hand, so maybe that's the more decisive one. DAX has actually established a very short-term bearish trend. It's not confirmed. It will be confirmed as it closes below the lower part of the cloud here at 23,845. Then it will be confirmed. But then we have the 100 moving average coming up here, giving some support. But the RSI, it actually closed below 40 threshold there. So it's actually in a negative sentiment and has failed to get back above 60 threshold. But we could be range bound here for a while as the 100 coming up there. So let's see how pre-market is looking. It's actually dipping a little bit lower, about 0.5% lower. So let's see 23,818 here on the GE40. There's the 61.8 and the cloud support. So that will be key here towards today and the coming days. On the FX markets, well, euro dollar spiked a little bit higher, but it didn't get above 117.45. And it needs to do that to push higher really there to establish a bullish trend. If it does get back above it, and especially a close above it, then we have established a bullish trend. We are above the cloud. We are above 55 moving average. So there is a great likelihood it will push higher, especially if RSI closes above 60 threshold. The cable or sterling dollar still range bound in this wide range here, and that's what it needs to take out between 136 and 133.90. The euro sterling could be testing, and it did actually yesterday, the 86.75 resistance. I think it will break higher. There's a positive sentiment on the RSI indicating likely higher levels. So let's see if it can do that. And I think if it takes it, pushes higher and takes out yesterday's high, well, then I think we'll be looking at 87 plus. Still 86 down there is key support. Dollar yen, strong move this morning here. Let's see if it can then take out the peaks here. I'm not quite sure. We still have the 200 moving average kind of putting a lid on it here. Still this rising trend line support there. So it will be key here the next few days, possibly today. We have seen the other yen pairs, and we're going to look at them in a moment. How they are pushing higher. So maybe a dollar yen will also do that. And we're already in a positive sentiment, and there is no divergence indicating likely higher levels eventually. See, euro yen has bounced, and it bounced from the 61.8 retracement here just around the 171. So we can remove this one now, and then we can say, okay, where will it push to? Possibly higher. It's probably taking out this or at least test this peak there just below 174. If it takes it out, well, then we'll look at 175.5, possibly higher. And looking at the weekly chart for euro yen, well, then the previous peak here, 175.45 from back in 2024, is in the cards. The Aussie yen 96.20 was broken yesterday. The falling trend line was broken, back above the cloud. RSI back above the 60 threshold at the moment. I think we see a push up to test this a resistance area here at 97.35. That's moving on to let's moving on to sterling yen. Touched the previous peak there, the 200 spot 28 or 200 spot 30, just rounding off a little bit. So if it takes it out, and that will be key, is it a double top like pattern or will it push higher? I believe it will push higher. So if it takes it out, we could see a massive move higher, and we can guesstimate how much it could be. Well, the first one could be to around 202 area up here. And if we're looking at the weekly charts, if it will come up here, let's see, come on, there we are. Well, see how strong it is, how significant this level around the 200 there is. And then there's no resistance until around the 205, 200, 208 area. So that will be key for sterling yen to watch what will it do. Will it break higher or not? So really strong resistance there. Aussie dollar, bullish trends, but RSI needs to close back above 60 threshold to really confirm it. And that will also possibly mean it needs to close above this peak here at 65.70. Again, I add a few pips just to round off a little bit, so give me a little bit of leeway. But we are above the cloud, we are above 55 moving average there. So I think we will see it pushing higher towards the 66.80 possibly. But again, I need confirmation on the RSI to close above 60 threshold. Dollar Canada still holding on above 137.20, which will be key here towards the next few days. Will it bounce off and then push higher? We are still in a bullish and higher high, higher low, despite those two lows are the same, and higher high again. So let's see, what will it do? Will it bounce off here or will it take out? If it bounces off, and I think if you see it moving above 138, then I think that is a sign it will likely keep bouncing higher. Sterling Canada, very volatile. It bounced from the 50%, then it bounced up to the 50% there, and then it got knocked down, back down here this morning. So let's see, will it take out 184.90, the lows here? Then we'll see 184.28, possibly lower if it takes out that. So that will be key, but it needs to take out the, at least the highs from today, but also the highs from yesterday at 186.40. Then we will see a bullish trend resume. So that's an interesting move, very volatile. So look out for these levels there. And let's just add a horizontal line to it that could give a little bit of guidance. That's what we are talking about. So this range here. On the Swiss franc, Euro Swiss still below the 200 moving average. Will it push higher? Let's see. We have this, add this Fibonacci to it, and we reach the 50%. Can it get up to above? If it moves above 94, then I think we could see a retest of 94.50 resistance. Dollar Swiss, and let's see, just zoom in a little bit. It is actually in a bearish trend. You can see lower low, lower high, lower low, and again lower low here. So we are sliding lower, but it hasn't been confirmed by the RSI. Still positive sentiment. There is actually no divergence on it, so we could see it push higher. But again, I'm not that convinced. I think it also something to do what will your dollar do, and the dollar in general, and it's in a waiting position a little bit. So I will be cautious at the moment. But if it takes out the lows here from yesterday at 79.70. Then we will see dollar Swiss most likely to these lows here around 79, possibly lower. The dollar index also here, as we talked about so many times, 97.45 key support. Will it go through or will it bounce up? It needs to take out 98.73 and close above it to establish a bullish trend. So that will be that key levels, those two key levels to watch out for. On the gold that I was about to say over the weekend, but Friday and yesterday and today pushed higher and spiked higher to 200% of this little correction there. We have established a bullish trend. We are just a few cents below 3,100, but strong RSI positive sentiment there. No divergence indicating likely higher levels on gold in the coming days and weeks. We could expect a little bit of a setback here before the next move. We can see here on the weekly how it's broken out of this triangle-like pattern, corrective pattern, and could push higher towards. And if I do this, you can see what I have done. I measured from the top to the bottom of this triangle-like pattern, added to the breakout price. It's in this region here. I just need to do something. I need to take out the snapping or the magnet function there so I can actually better place it. So around here it broke out of a little bit. There we are. So it reached 23.6. We don't use it much, but I think we'll see it higher toward 35.60, possibly up to 3600 or 36.50 in the coming weeks. However, RSI divergence, as you can see, RSI value is declining, but the trend is your friend, and we have established a new one here on gold. Also strong move in silver that pushed higher here yesterday and Friday, and it's now set on course to levels around 42, 43, possibly higher in the coming days and weeks. Slightly building up at least RSI divergence. Let's see about that, but the trend seems very strong. We could see a little bit of a setback before next move, but strong positive sentiment on the weekly indicating likely higher levels. Also platinum pushed higher yesterday, and it went above the 1400, and let's just zoom in there so we can see what's going on. So above 1400, almost up to the 786 retracement there at 1436. I would think it will be reached. We have RSI above the 60 threshold, back above it, so indicating likely higher levels. And we had some indication of this scenario was likely to play out after RSI broke above its falling trend line, and we have established re-established the bullish trend. I think we'll see it pushing higher here in coming days and weeks. We're about above the cloud, we're above 55 moving average, so it seems fairly strong at the moment unless it moves back below 1320. On the copper, on the other hand, the copper future here, yes, it has slightly been rising here the past months or so after this massive sell-off. I don't think it will be strong enough to get above 465 and the 200 moving average. It could touch it, but then I think it will be sent back a little bit. Still negative sentiment on the RSI. So that one is, that metal is struggling a little bit, to say the least. Crude oil, well, sellers have come back into the market this morning, and is again testing the 38.2 retracement here at 65.21. Could have pushed higher, but we still have the 55 moving average coming down. We have the 200, but we could see a spike up to maybe 66.23, maybe even to 67.25 up here, which is the 61.8 retracement of this downtrend. But then I think it could be a struggle to move higher. Key will be, will RSI close back above the 60 threshold or be rejected? The Brent crude oil also pushing higher and just below the 55 moving average, and that would be key. What can it do? Can it get back above this peak here at 69.07? Very close to. If it can do that, well, then there could be potential up to 70.34. We have the European nat gas that bounced from the 786 retracement here just above 31. I still think we will see it sliding lower. However, if it gets back above 34 and above the falling trend line, maybe then it could establish a bullish trend going into the autumn. US nat gas spiked to the 786 retracement just above $3, and I think we'll now see a setback that could settle back to below 290, maybe a little bit lower. Let's remove this one. So I don't think it will bounce higher than this, but if it takes out this peak there, then there's potential up to the 390 level. On the yield side, we have the US 10-year Treasury yield we talked about yesterday. That's testing the 420, really key support there. Seems to be bouncing off, but keep an eye on that. That's the main reason to look at, or not the main reason, but that's what you should look at if you're looking at yields or interest rates. 420, it touched this just again a couple of times, so that is really a key support. On the European yields, we have the Euro 10-year that has continued its move from yesterday. This bounce here from the 61.8 retracement. If it takes out 280 there, which I wouldn't be surprised to see, well, then 283, 284, possibly higher could be seen. The UK 10, well, opened this morning above the peak here, so it is continuing its bullish trend. Next resistance around 482, not the strongest one, but we could see it up there. So what I will do, I will remove this one, so it seems like we are pushing higher there. The Japanese, well, sideways, taking a breather after this bullish trend there, but if it takes out 165, well, then it will resume uptrend. On the Bitcoin markets, we saw Bitcoin yesterday bouncing from 107,200 support area and could bounce further, but we are in a bearish trend. If it takes out 107,000, well, then we're looking at 104, possibly lower. What I will do, by the way, I will add a Fibonacci to this one and say, okay, if it can bounce up to the 38.2 retracement just below 114, 113, 852, that could be in the cards. Then let's see if we get up there, what the scenario will look like. Ethereum dancing sideways here around the 786 retracement and the 61.8 retracement. Still bullish trend, but trend exhaustion indicated by the RSI. If it takes out the lows there at 4,066, well, then we have established a bearish trend. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day, and talk to you again tomorrow. Oh, by the way, tomorrow it will be a little bit delayed, so we'll be doing the day that this video will be uploaded.